Welcome students in our health education and health communication class. I am your teacher Ankita Acharya, Assistant Professor of the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, JIS University. So today we are going to start our health education part 2 video. In our previous video, we have covered already some terminologies associated with health education and also the introduction portion and the definition of health education. Today, we are going to learn some principles of health education. So let's have a look some brief principles which I have jotted down in this slide. Community involvement in planning health education is essential. Without community involvement, the chances of any program succeeding are slim. So, regarding this point, it is essential to involve a community, as without the involvement of a community, there is a least chance to succeeding any program. The promotion of self-esteem should be an integral component of all health education programs. Volunteerism is ethical principle on which all health education programs should be built. Without it, health education programs become propaganda. So, beside community, volunteerism is also a important part regarding the health education program. So that's why we need to involve community as well as volunteerism in our health education program to succeed the program successfully. Health education should not seek to coerce but should rather aim to facilitate informed choice. Health education should respect cultural norms and take account of the economic and environmental constraints faced by people. It should seek positively to enhance respect for all. So, here is two part. First one is means the objective of the health education is to facilitate the informed choice and also to take account of the economic and environmental constraints. So these 2 points you have to remember in your mind as well as the first 2 points. Evaluation needs to be an integral part of health education. There should be a responsibility for the accuracy of information and the appropriateness of methods used. Health education should be planned one. The planned programs gives a step-by-step approach to a guide action necessary to reach a predetermined goal. So, this step-by-step is our 13 principles regarding this topic, as we have to learn the individual 13 step-by-step approach regarding these principles of health education. So let's have a look what are the 13 step-by-step approach of the principles of health education. So here are the 13 approaches or the step-by-step approaches I have jotted down in this slide. So just I am starting with the credibility, then interest, then participation, then motivation, then comprehension, reinforcement, learning by doing, known to unknown, setting an example, good human relations, feedback, community leaders, soil, seed, sour, and people, facts, and media. So these are the principles of our health education program. So now we are going to cover all these things one by one in an individual manner. So first comes the credibility. So here I have set a picture to clear the credibility thing. Okay. So it is the degree to which the message to be communicated is perceived as trustworthy by the receiver. So it means whenever you are talking to someone or whenever you are spreading knowledge to your surrounding people, then the message should be communicated in such a way that it perceived as trustworthy by the receiver. Unless and until the people have trust and confidence in the communicator, no desired action will ensure after receiving the message. So that's why for ensuring the communicating message, it should be scientifically proven based on facts and should be compatible with local culture and goals. Next comes interest. The message should be to the interest of receiver. If the health education topic is of interest to the people, they will listen to it. And if the health education topic is not interested to the people, then they will not listen to you and the communication process is stopped in that portion. So health education should identify the felt needs of the people and then prepare a program or a to-do list that they can actively participate. The educator should understand the health problem, the possible solutions, and the level of knowledge and general education of the people, and by this way they should educate the people or spread the health education message to their surrounding peoples. Next comes participation. Health education should encourage people to participate in the program. The educator's task is help people to learn rather than to teach. So as a health educator, your job is to encourage people to participate any kind of healthcare related program. So by attending those kinds of program, the people will learn how to participate or how to engage in a program. So you can use some methods like group discussion, panel discussions, etc., which will provide the opportunities for people's participation. And via this participation, you will be able to know that the people are interested in these programs or not. And also, you will be able to know that once the people are given a chance to take part in the program, it leads to their acceptance of the program. So, that point is very much important in case of the participation. Next is the motivation. Health education can be facilitated by the motivation provided by the desire to achieve individual goals and to change behavior. So, we know the proverb that if we do not motivate ourselves or if we do not motivate others, then no one can achieve their desired goal. So that's why if a person want to achieve a goal, so your role would be as a health educator that to motivate him or herself to achieve their individual goals and also to change their behavior. Here I have jotted down an example. Just have a look. For a teenager, aesthetics might be a motive to take care of his teeth, whereas for an adult, the expenses of undergoing restorative care. Next comes the comprehension. Level of understanding and education of the people who receive the health education should first determine the level of literacy and understanding of the audience and act accordingly. So, as a health educator, your first job is to know the level of the literacy of your surrounding people, and depending upon that, you will act accordingly. Words that are strange or new to the people should not be used. Communicate in the language people can understand. The message should be consistent and brief. Unnecessary information and contradictory message will not be accepted by the people. So that's why you need to concise and you need to deliver the consistent and brief message to your surrounding people. Like a doctor asked the diabetic to cut down starchy foods, the patient had no idea of starchy foods. So, if a patient has no idea about what is the starchy foods, then they will not understand the whole idea or the whole conversation behind this comprehension. Next is the reinforcement. It refers to the repetition needed in health education. Repetition is a good idea as it is not possible for the people to learn new things in a short period of time. So therefore, in a short terminology, reinforcement means the repeat. Okay. If uh, we get a chance to repeat all the programs, then it will be a good idea for all those people who want to learn new things in a short period of time. This can be done at regular intervals in different way so that it helps people to remember and understand new ideas or practice better. Next is the learning by doing. Learning is an action process, not a memorizing one. If the learning process is accompanied by doing new things, it is better instilled in the minds of people. So, it means do a work, then the reflection of your work, then conclude a portion or conclude your program, and then decide further what you want to do or what you want to achieve. Okay, so this is a cycle. Just look at the picture attached here. Do, reflect, conclude and decide. So same as the learning is not a action process, it's a memorizing one. So if a process is accompanied by doing new things, then the new things will better instill in the mind of the people. Here is a Chinese proverb that if I hear, I forget, if I see, I remember, and if I do, I know. Okay. Next is the known to unknown. Before the start of any health education program, the health educator should find out how much the people already know and then give them the new knowledge. The existing knowledge of the people can be used as the basic step up on which new knowledge can be placed. So, in this case, first you have to find out the literacy level or the basic knowledge of the people, and based upon that you should encourage people to start up a new thing or to learn a new thing. In health education work, we must proceed from the concrete to the abstract, from the particular to the general, from the simple to the more complicated, from the easy to more difficult, and from the known to the unknown. So that's why you first begin with the simpler one and then you have to go with the difficult one. In first, if you start with the difficult one, then your surrounding people will not able to take the whole process in their mind. So that's why you first have to start with the simpler one, and then step by step you will proceed to the difficult one. Our example is attached with this, that a health education program with the aim of introducing a toothbrush to a rural population will be better appreciated if the communicators start the program with what are you using to clean your teeth at present, and then going into details like why are you using it, and then connecting it to the toothbrush and then providing details. Hope this example will help you to know what is known to unknown. Next is setting an example. The health educator should follow what he preaches. He should set an example to others to follow. Example, a health educator who participates in a program highlighting the ill effects of tobacco should not be seen smoking since it sends a wrong signal and seriousness of the situation is lost. Next is the good human relations. Sharing of informations, ideas and feelings happen most easily between people who have a good relationship. That's why the health educator should have good personal qualities and should be able to maintain friendly relations with the people in the community. The health educator should have a kind and sympathetic attitude towards the people and should always be helpful to them in clarifying doubts or repeating what is not understood. So as a good teacher or as a health educator, your job is to help others to clarify their doubts or repeating those things what is not understood by them, and you have to maintain a kind and sympathetic attitude towards them, as these personal qualities, uh, if you maintain these personal qualities and friendly relations with all the people which are living who are living in your community, then it will build up a good human relationship. Next is the feedback. We all know what is feedback. So, for any program to be successful, it is necessary to collect feedback to find out if any modifications are needed to make the program more effective. So, after completion of a program, we all we all are seeking feedback. So in that feedback, we will learn that is the program is successful or something is attached with the program. So feedback is more necessary in case of a successful program. The health educator can modify the elements of the system, example the messages and the channels in the light of feedback from his audience. For effective communication, feedback is of paramount importance. Next is community leaders. Community leaders can be used to reach the people of the community and to convince them about the need for health education. The leader will have an understanding of the needs of the community and advise and guide them. So, this is the same as the class teacher or the class representative role. So, in the class, there is a class representative who will communicate all the messages received from the teachers to the other students. So as a community leader, your job will be to spread the messages related with the health education. Leaders can also be used to educate the people, as they will have a rapport and will be familiar with the other people of their own community or the other community. In the work of health education, we try to penetrate the community through the local leaders, the village headman, the school teacher, or the political worker. These are the examples of our community leaders. If the leaders are convinced first about a given program, the rest of the task of implementing the program will be easy, as they will convince others to participate the program, and they will take the responsibility for the successful of the program. Next is the soil seed shower. Soil is the community, seed is the information, and shower is the person giving the information. So this is related to the our environment, as if we are showering a seed in the soil, then we can relate all these things with the community information and the person giving the information. So that's why the person who are giving the information is living in a community, and they are spreading all the messages related with the health education through the communication process to the other people who are living in their community. Next is the people, facts, and media. The transmitting media must be attractive, palatable, and acceptable. Message media and the communicator must be satisfactorily related to each other. So, these are the 13 facts or the 13 principles of our health education program. So, learn all these things. If you have any kind of doubt, then you can easily reach out to me. And here is a small assignment for you. The 2 questions you need to answer and submit it in the Google Classroom. That is, what is volunteerism and what is community. I hope you have learned a lot of things. Thank you for the class, and I am ending here. Thank you.